Hey guys, just making another video. I wanted to talk about something that baffles me. I actually think I know the answer to it, but let's just do a little deep dive into the Democratic Party, shall we? Um, First of all, if anybody didn't understand, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Abraham Lincoln wanted to free the slaves. The Democrats did not. Um, and there was a civil war. And the Union won. The Confederacy was beat, and the slaves were freed. I mean, in a nutshell, I'm not saying, line by line, moment by moment, but that's what happened. If somebody wants to come in and say that that's not that way it happened, then tell me how it happened. Um, so the Republicans fought to end slavery. Okay, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that the Democrats claim President Johnson just signed it on in, wanted it to be there. It wouldn't have happened without the Republicans because most of the Democrats didn't want it to pass. Look it up, okay? So if it wasn't for the Republicans, the Democrats would have never passed that. Because why would they want blacks to vote? Hmm? Lyndon Johnson is reported to have saying, I can't confirm this, but it sure sounds like something that maybe one of those crazies would say. He said, I'm gonna have those that N word, I'm going to have them voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Guess what they did? Roe v. Wade. Government assistance. No father in the home, you get more. Okay, so they subsidized having no fathers in the home. They claim that there was a big switch. Big switch. The Republicans are now the racists. Like those people that fought for the Civil War to end slavery, who didn't want slavery the entire time in the 1990s or the 1900s, I mean. The Democrats fought it every step of the way. But when they couldn't fight it anymore, they said, okay, well, they're going to vote, so they may as well vote for us, even though we're the ones that enslaved them for the last God knows how many years. But we'll just forget about that and vote for them. Come on. You've been lied to. If that is, I'm not trying to be confrontational, I'm trying to be real, I'm trying to be honest with you. They claimed that there was a Southern strategy where a bunch of Republicans went down to the South and made buddy-buddy with all the racists. Democrat racists. And that was supposed to gain them votes for those states, is what my memory serves me as. Now, I'm going to quote Carol Swain here. It wasn't until the 1980s. This was in the 60s when this happened. It wasn't until the 1980s until the South started to become red. Because the people changed. The people realized that racism was not a good thing or whatever happened, but they just started voting Republican If they wanted to vote racist all day long, they could vote Democrat. Because the Republicans don't have the history of racism that the Democrats do. And they try to gaslight you and tell you with 100% certainty that the Republicans are going to put you back in chains. How does that work out? They never were putting you in chains. So, look, as far as I can see, I'm a member of the Republican Party because they treat everybody equal. They don't look at skin color. They don't make out some crazy identity politics and, it's okay if your child wants to change his complete gender, and if you have a problem with it, then we'll take your kids. Look, people, this is insanity. Okay? This is not something that's going to blow over. Especially if they keep doing it. And when I say they, I mean Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all of them. Barack, Hillary, they're all behind it. All of it. Even both the Trump assassination attempts. But that one's kind of hard to prove because everything's coming out. It's kind of hard to but let's just see for just one moment here. Okay. Chain of events. Trump comes down the escalator as the Republican. Now, 5 minutes before that, they all loved him, right? Comes down the elevator. Now he's the son of Hitler. He's a Russian spy. How'd that work out? They've been telling you. As much BS as they can get away with. Now Kamala's saying she doesn't believe all the things that she used to believe. It's called Kamala the chameleon. Okay? Listen, I want to have a debate. I want to talk to someone and I want to have an actual discussion, no insults, no all of that kind of a deal. Just tell me what your facts are, and they should line up with reality. I mean, there's something called subjective and objective. You can have your own opinions, you can't have your own facts, right? So I think in the next video, I know this was a rather short video. But why don't we just keep it going just a little bit further here? Let's move on over to George Floyd. George Floyd. Okay. In the news, he was King Floyd. He was murdered. He was such a saint. He was a savior, baby, on all these murals and all this stuff. You guys have any idea what the actual truth is? Floyd didn't get murdered. Floyd was high with lethal doses of meth and fentanyl in his system. And anybody that has that in their system is probably going to say, I can't breathe. Guess what? You know that maneuver when Chauvin was on his back? Picture perfect. That's in the police training manual that they will never admit. They didn't admit it into court. It's in there. Picture perfect. That's how they were trained. And this man is sitting in prison. Does it piss me off? Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, I do get how it happened, but this has got to end. All I'm trying to say is please vote Trump in November, or else you're gonna have so much of this stuff. I mean, if you haven't even looked at the last 3 years, or if you're in the dark, okay, we don't control our southern border. Just so you know, we don't. Guess who does? The Mexican cartels. You think we control it? The last numbers I looked at were about what was it, like 10, 15,000 a day coming in, just pouring in our country. Hey, have you guys heard about these Venezuela gangs taking over apartment complexes and threatening everyone? Gee, that sounds like fun. Guys, there's a movie called The Fall of Minneapolis. I've seen it, and I have zero doubt in my mind that Chauvin did the right thing, that Floyd OD'd. You can't put a cop in prison for doing exactly what he was trained to do, and that's what they, okay? Right after they burned down the police department, and the governor and the mayor let them. Said no problem. Social justice, right? I live in reality. I live in truth. When people tell me things or tell things to other people to instigate what we saw in 2020, Kamala Harris, you've got to be kidding me, right? She is the one that's running for president, and she was the one that was setting up bail funds to get the rioters and arsonists out of jail so that they could keep doing it. Doesn't sound like very presidential to me, is it? I mean, not to mention she's a nut. We all know that. It's fine. Hey, she can do whatever she wants to, but don't freaking run our country. Holy moly. Hey, by the way, anybody notice the video where Joe Biden said that he paid off Burisma or Ukraine to fire the prosecutor that was looking into his son Hunter's business, Burisma? There was a prosecutor. He told Ukraine, if that guy's not out of here by sundown or whatever, that guy ain't getting fired, then you ain't getting the money. This is on camera over and over. That's called treason. But nobody seems to really care about that. And no one really seems to care about the fact that Joe Biden said, hey, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And still we have people voting. African American people voting. What if somebody said that to me, they'd never get my vote. Sorry. You guys have a good night. I'll make another one soon.